Hello friends, it's Christy over at Crafty Christy's Creations, and today we're going to talk about the sun panel and different ways to cut. We're going to go over cut by line, cut by fill color, and then cut by layer, and then also our simple cut. So I'm using the St. Patrick's Day mini slimline card as my example here. And I just want to get it set up more like you would if you were actually going to send it through to your machine. So this part here is your directions, and we're just going to go ahead and pull those off the mat. And then we've got our little Irish blessing here, which we're going to do as a sketch, and it's going to be sketched on this piece here. So I'm going to grab both of those and Control G to group them together, and I'm going to move those off to the side. This little shamrock here, we're going to cut out. So I'll move that up over here. This is my card here, which I'm going to cut out. And then it's got the blue score line. And then I've got my truck. And my truck here is the same color as this. So I want these pieces to be close together. And then all my shamrocks are the same. So I'm going to bring these up over here and make them close together. And then I've got my card and my score line, and I'll move those over here. Just so you can see a better idea how this is going to work. So now over on the sun panel. So initially you come over to the simple panel here, and I've already got it labeled as cardstock is what I'm cutting. And I'm using my manual ratchet blade. And everything's just a regular cut. So you see it's got cut lines around everything. But maybe I don't want it to actually cut this piece here. So now I have to ungroup them. And then I can grab just the words. And then I can say no cut. And same with the score line. I could say this and say no cut. And then I could go ahead and cut all of this out and then come back through. However, there are easier ways to do that. So let's look at line. So when you go by line color, with everything here selected, you see it's got everything, the things here we have to kind of select again. But now what we can do is, so if I unselect the no line color, that means, so if I had a line color, it would have an extra red mark around it. The only thing that has a line color really right now is my score line and my word and my little words here. So those I want to set up differently. And then everything else here has no line color, so it only has a fill color. And then notice you can also do other actions here. So first, I want to go ahead and cut all these pieces out. But then I want to add a pause, so I can come down here and add a pause. And what that does is it gives me a chance to change over the action or the blade settings. And so then it'll go ahead and cut out all of these shamrocks, and then my truck, it'll cut this piece, this rectangle, and it'll cut this rectangle. And then it's going to stop cutting. And then it's going to go ahead and see what I want to do for the blue piece. And now I can change the action to that and say I want the blue one to score. That is the fold line for my card base. So that I want to score. And now with this piece highlighted, again, I can add another pause. Now this again will give me a chance to change the settings on my blade. And now we're looking at the white, which is the sentiment here. And that I actually want to do as a sketch. So with all of these things, now it's giving me a chance to come through and make some changes. So this again is the cutting by line color. If you like what you're hearing, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that like so you don't miss out on any future tutorials. Now let's go ahead and look at the cut by fill color. And you can see with the fill color, I have a lot more options here. But again, it's going to be kind of the same premise. We can go through, and now it's just looking at what color is filled in instead of what color is on the outside, the line color. So we've got our pink card base. I want to go ahead and cut that. And then we've got this one that does not have a fill color. And this one, see, if you unclick it and reclick it, it'll show you what those are. And so that is actually my sentiment and my score line here. So that makes it a little bit difficult to go ahead and use the fill color when you have two different things that you want to do for two different actions, but both don't have a fill color. And then here, this one is my truck and my rectangle. And then our greens here are all of the shamrock pieces. And then the blue here was actually this part over here that has all of the directions on how to do this. So I don't tend to use the fill, cut by fill color as much. I tend to do the line color because it caters more to these different operations here that might have the same no fill. And then we also have cut by layer. So the layer panel you're only going to be able to get to in the business edition. And you can see I've got a couple different layers. So let's go ahead and click off all of these and see what they are. So now you can see first my one layer is the card. And that is the card base. And then it also has the score line marked. So again, doing it this way, it's going to cut both things. That isn't very helpful. So now if I unclick it, you can see those lines went away. And then layer one, now it's going to cut out everything here, which is good. That'll work well. It'll cut the outline of everything. And then if I look at this other layer one, that was probably to cut this. Let's see. This other layer one isn't showing me anything. So again, that doesn't really give me the options to do the multiple things that I need to do. So really, I think the best way to go about cutting card designs, if you want to do multiple operations at once, is to do the cut by line color. But that is how you can go over the different types of cutting to give you options to help you do things a little faster. So again, I really like this cut by line color. That's what I use the most when I'm doing cards.